Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to more Friends with Death Benefits. We're back in the studio and we're pissed off. We're mad about stuff. A lot of stuff. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what being mad looks like, the things we're mad about, maybe some stuff we can do to be a little less mad. If you're mad, listen for the next hour. Maybe we'll be less mad together. Thanks for listening, guys. Tiffany Mossman.
Justin Paulson. What's your middle name?
You don't know?
I don't know.
It's weird that you haven't asked me prior to this engagement.
Tiffany, your name. It's not Tiffany.
It is Tiffany.
Is
Believe
it
or not,
Justin
it is.
Tiffany Paulson?
Yeah, they call me J-Tiff.
JTP.
I just didn't want to tell you that because I didn't want to steal your thunder. You know what I mean? You got this Tiff thing going.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
It's Thomas.
Thomas. Justin Thomas.
Still JTP.
It is still.
Which is weird because I went to middle school with a kid named JTP, like T-E-E-P-E-E.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, your name is my initials. And he's like, what? I'm like, I don't know.
Wow.
Good story, right?
Right.
Yeah.
My middle name's Alan after my dad.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you told
What's
me.
your middle name, Joe?
Charles.
Charles?
Yes.
Joseph Charles?
Joseph Charles.
That's a very regal name.
Joey Chuck.
Yep.
Joey.
Joe Chuck.
They call me Joey Chuck.
I don't know where I want to go though.
You work at the Dollar Tree? What's going on with you guys?
Oh.
Shaking down in North Iowa.
Yeah, living.
Living.
That's all you can do sometimes.
It's better than the alternative. But is it?
Yeah. We couldn't possibly know.
We couldn't.
You just guess.
There's no way to change your mind either. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
yeah. Yeah, we can speculate only.
Yeah.
Speculate.
But I don't know. What's up with you?
Oh, just being angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized I was telling Joe before you got here that I'm officially in the anger stage of this whole thing. I think I've touched on it briefly before, but I've solidified my placement in the angry realm.
Full-blown mad.
Full blown mad.
Now I got a question. Does it go linear? Like, is there like, what's before anger and what's after anger? And does it
I don't
always
know.
follow the same path?
No, it doesn't always follow
Okay.
the same. That's from what I understand, and like from what I understand is like you can revisit many of the stages at any given time. It's just a crapshoot, really. But I would like to not ever go back to this one. This one has been the hardest thus far. I do not like this, and I am in a real big hurry to get through it. But yeah, I think I also realize like because I spend a lot of time alone because nobody likes me anymore, and I drive a lot and I'm alone, and that's fine. But like that, I have a lot of anger towards a lot of things, and I like stuff I thought I had kind of worked through before. But what I realized was that I was doing nothing more than just kind of compartmentalizing my anger. And I think what do you do to work through the anger? That's why I was like, ask myself, well, how do you work through anger and
Let it out.
let it out?
That's what I do.
Lash out at people.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
I should be
that's
better
one-
by now then.
That's one thing you can do is lash out. But I mean, for me, if I'm angry, you gotta. If you keep it inside, you're gonna explode on the wrong
Right.
person for the wrong reason,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "What in the
Yeah.
hell?"
How do you let it out?
I run, scream into a pillow.
All the stuff you learned in Dare.
Yes. Break a FIFA controller. I mean,
I like-
there's several different ways to do that.
Okay.
Dare.
Dare.
Did they teach you that in Dare? I don't know that I ever went to Dare.
I don't know. I feel like it was just around the same
I
time.
find the things they tell you not to do in Dare are the things that help the most.
I couldn't even disagree. It couldn't possibly.
I'll leave it as vague as that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I've heard like boxing and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So you-
some people
physical
get into
you would
exertion.
like,
think, so you would think like physical exertion. So
it's
yes.
worth maybe trying.
So I have, and I have been like, I started back at the gym, whatever. And, but like when you mean let it out,
Mm.
for me, it means like I want to verbally assault, like, and not like be mean and cruel, but like I want to say like I've found something that has been kind of working a little bit is I've been like video doing a video diary,
Vlogging.
blogging,
Yeah.
just for my own self. And like, you know, so some of the things I say on there are like just things I wouldn't normally say out loud to people because it seems very out of character for me because I'm such a carrier of the flame and light and soft and not soft but like light and and find joy in pretty much anything. Stay with me. But so like I don't say a lot of the things that I really want to say out loud. And so the blogging has really, or vlogging has really helped a lot with that. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel just really mad.
I get that because like I've never been a physical dude.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But I'm pretty good with my words. So that's like where I am too. Or it's like I want to be like verbally like angry. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
where I feel most
Yeah.
satisfied.
I see a
Satisfying.
business opportunity. Well, we were talking
People
when we first
willing to
got
be
here.
ridiculed by
Yeah.
strangers. Like,
There used to be a place where they had just junk that you could break,
Yeah.
and you would pay, I forget what it was, like $20 for 10 minutes, and you get to just break stuff. What if you could be like, I could be the guy because I believe I'm emotionally strong enough
Yeah.
to deal with whatever. And what would be a fair price?
Ooh,
like
to like
$50
verbally accost you.
Yeah, $50 for 20 minutes, and you can just scream at me all you want and just get it out.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
Is that fair?
I mean,
I feel like I'd need some type of motivation. Like for me, like I feel like I would feel bad because I like you so much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're talking hypothetically. I don't know who you are.
hypothetically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
maybe I started.
Could
like,
you say something
know,
real stupid first,
Could
or
you
like
insult
you know,
me?
like
Try
you
and
choose
make
from a
fun of you?
script,
Yeah.
something that just
Right.
irritates me? Like
Yeah.
these are the things you could say that would make him go off. Like,
yeah.
Wow, you've lost weight. I would have hate to seen the before photo.
Right.
You know, or
Uh,
just something to poke
yeah.
the bear.
So God, I mean, I'd have to think that you'd have to charge a fair amount because inevitably you are going to be carrying some of that home with you.
Yeah.
You know,
anyone
so
who's
like,
ever worked as like a bill collector or telemarketer though is
I've worked as a
subjected to that
telemarketer.
So did
anyways.
Musk.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
almost like it
Yeah.
would just be more specific. I feel
right.
like.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd throw you like $30 for like 10 minutes of
$30 for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Joe's
You
trying
want
to
to take
make
this
a
out of
quick
the parking lot, or
Turn that into a segment on my show. Here's my Venmo.
people?
But right.
just scream.
The studio's in a fairly nice neighborhood. People be calling like, I don't know what's going on or what this guy did to this lady, but she is upset. And
It's just
she
Joe's side
She
gig.
is saying some dark shit to him right now.
But it's like also, how could you just look at like Joe's face and just be mean to him?
I'm too cherub-like.
Yeah, you are very cherub.
Could it be like a phone situation where it's like, hey, you call up and it's like, hey, thanks for calling talk a bunch of shit to me.com. You know, like press 5 if you're mad at your husband. Press like
right? And you pay extra if you want FaceTime.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that.
There's room to work here, I think.
If you make me cry, you save 10%.
Ooh, make the cherub cry.
Like a challenge.
Like a good
That sounds like a fun like Valentine's activity. Like, make the cherub cry. We dress Joe up in a like toga diaper thing with like a bow and arrow with hearts, and people just come and verbally accost him.
I think I'd need a shield, not the bow and arrow.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
right.
And you'd probably have to wear one of those like plastic face mask things that cover your whole face because like
Oh, the spit?
I'm
Yeah.
a spitter when I get mad.
Like a venomous cobra.
She doesn't mean like she just starts talking so aggressively she spits.
No,
Like, she
she's
literally
like
stops between sentences and hawks in people's faces just to show that extra bit of disrespect.
Okay, honest question: have you ever been so mad at somebody where you did just want to spit on them?
Not on them, but I have spit in anger before.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah,
I've got-
Really?
Yeah, it's sort of a manifestation of getting this bad taste out of my mouth.
okay.
Like I'm just get this bad taste out of my mouth. And it
Really?
feels better. And again, for me,
Okay.
things are very literal with stuff
Sure.
like, exercise the anger
Yeah.
out, break something, get the anger out,
Okay.
spit the anger out.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I've done that. And, am I still mad? Is my blood pressure still high? Yes.
Yeah.
But I have manifested that into that.
Joe,
and
you have
it's
an
gone.
impressive set of coping skills.
You
I just wanna
really
say
do.
that.
I was
I
just-
admire it about you, actually.
I was just
I'm not
thinking-
even kidding. It's not a joke.
You
Like,
can
I'm
turn
being-
anything
I'm
into
being
a
serious,
coping
like-
mechanism.
Sure, no, but I mean, you've really
Sure.
figured it out what works for you in a lot of
for
ways.
real.
and
It's I'm blown
I've
away.
learned that about
every-
you over the weeks doing this. and
Yeah, every time we sit here and I'm just like, this dude, this
I know
portly
everything I say.
cherub is wise beyond his
Everything I say
years.
comes off cynical and insincere. I understand that, but I'm actually being serious. It's actually pretty impressive. For me, like, I get so mad that, like, you ever just get so mad you just don't even, it's too much for you to continue. It's like, you just almost want to just like, you just want to growl at somebody at Walmart, just lash out and just like not even words. You're just like,
just gibberish.
yeah, it's impossible to be that mad, and you just have to like let some of it out
Yes.
audibly.
Maybe that's what you could do. Go to a Walmart, or
I was there on Friday and it
any
was
sort of place where
tough.
behavior is, you kind of just anything can happen, or like a fair, I know we're running out of fair season, but if you're angry next spring and summer, like,
or Black Friday.
go to, Black Friday would
That-
work as
that'd be a
well.
great one.
I didn't
Spread some holiday
just
cheer.
talking about all this anger. Like sometimes doing this show, like we'll start talking about stuff, and I'll realize that like I'll like realizations about myself that I didn't notice, which is it's kind of cool. But like I went to I got gifted a ticket. Me and my wife both got gifted tickets to go see Slipknot 2 weeks ago. This big Slipknot festival in Indianola. Like Megadeth was there, and like
I wanted to go so
it was
bad.
very cool. It was a ticket I wouldn't have been able to afford otherwise. And like last
How much
minute,
were tickets? I don't even know.
if you got them right when it like they announced it, like back in the spring, they were only 80, but day of the show they were 150.
Ooh, God.
So I mean, they went up almost double. So I didn't know that this friend of ours had bought us tickets, and like the day before,
and
she's
is
like,
that general or is that like VIP?
"Yeah, no, that's VIP was like $350 a
Oh my
ticket,
God.
and it didn't. It was like literally you just were on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Had your own bathrooms and food. But I'm generally like a real passive dude. Like I don't like to get into altercations, especially with strangers. I know I'm not that tough. I stay in my lane, but like the way it was set up, 30,000 people and there's only 2 beer tents. So the lines got
Oh my God.
wild. I mean, and only one non-alcoholic tent.
What?
Wow.
It was
I heard it was bad, but I
chaos.
didn't realize
You're
there
looking
was
at 2-3
one.
hours to wait. And I mean, you're missing 2-3 bands to get a beer. And
wow.
so for me, I don't drink, so that wasn't a huge deal for me.
Well, you need water.
I went through the line early
Right.
and I spent $20. I got like 5 Gatorades, and that lasted me the day. I'm pretty low maintenance at those things, but I could see why people were irritated. But the lines would get to the point where they're like intermingling, and it's just like a mess of humanity, and you don't even know what's going on. And me and Liz and 2 friends that we ran into were kind of like standing around looking for our other friend, and this drunk guy just came up, and and you could tell he's the kind of guy that me, my really buff rugby buddy, his girlfriend, and then little Liz, and he picked little Liz of all of us to talk to this drunk guy, and he's just like,
Okay.
"You cut in fucking line, and we've all been waiting for beer, and who do you think is back of the line, you student?" Just talking shit. And so normally I would diffuse it very calmly, but instead I stood in front of my wife and I called this guy a fat-faced dipshit. And I was like, "You better quit disrespecting women before you get your fucking face knocked off." And he's just like, my rugby buddy, who's way tougher than me, he's got his back turned because he's the kind of guy that if he engages, there's no
Yeah.
turning back.
Yeah.
So I'm just completely unequipped to handle this situation. I'm just cocking off to this drunk guy, and he starts to get in my face. I'm like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And then they all pulled me away, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're lucky." And I'm just staring him down, hoping he doesn't act on it. And like then afterwards, I'm like, "What was that, dude? It was like noon. You weren't drunk or anything,
Yeah,
like,
right.
and you just tried to start a fight at a music festival. Like that's
Wow.
way out of pocket for you,
Right.
dude." And like
Yeah.
thinking about it now as we're talking, maybe I'm a little more pissed off at the world than I thought I was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, I'd say I mean we've talked a lot about like doing stuff out of character in this, but like yeah, the anger thing is
Could get you in trouble.
yeah, it can. I'm trying real hard to like not do something dumb. You know what I mean? But it takes a conscious effort, and it's not ever been a part of me that like I thought that I needed to really watch myself in that way. My dad, my real dad, and my sister were both very angry and violent people, and so it's something I know that's like inside of me, but I've just worked really hard to like not let that kind of overtake me. And you condition yourself over time, and you're like, nope, this is not how I choose to live, and that's not what I'm going to do, and whatever. And now I'm having to make real conscious efforts not to lose my shit on somebody. Yeah.
I had something pop into my head. I had to Google the words because I
Okay.
didn't know them exactly. So, in the great words of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood,
Ooh,
and maybe this will be helpful. Are you familiar?
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
Okay.
Daniel Tiger.
How are you familiar with Daniel Tiger's
The
Neighborhood?
books, right? They were books, and then
No, it's like a TV show.
yeah, it was a show too.
Yeah.
Wasn't it books too?
Maybe. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not well versed, but
Okay.
I'm definitely
Okay.
familiar.
No, I don't mean to like. Why would you? But
Yeah.
that's I would have.
If you're
not
into
guessed
it, we
that.
don't care.
That's
Joe's
fine.
angry that you're into it.
No. But in the words of Daniel Tiger, when you feel so mad that you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4.
Profound, Daniel. Wow. Okay, I'm doing it right now.
And then if you still want to punch somebody in the mouth, then
It doesn't have anything on that. I just say count to 4 and then
drop kick at 5.
Yeah, drop kick at 5.
Run from cops at 6.
Yep. Let's see. 7 is pull teeth out of your knuckles. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why that just popped into my
I
head.
love that. I will keep that in mind.
Take a deep breath
Okay.
and count to 4.
God, why do I pay my therapist? Joe's like
Yeah.
Daniel Tiger.
It's like you guys need
Yeah.
to get it figured out. dude.
Yeah. What are you guys so
You-
upset about?
I just figured that makes sense now. I haven't heard a lot from you the past week. I can be very irritating, and I'm
It's it's just
steering clear of that.
It's so I don't know. It's one of those like Murphy's Law things where, you know, when it rains, it pours and everything's going down at once and, you know, whatever. And that's like, so I feel like the downward spiral happened like a couple weeks ago. I went on a solo kind of camping, hiking trip, whatever, Lanesboro. And I was really pumped about it. Everything was good. The weather was great, whatever. Well, on my way down to Illinois, I realized that Kyle, my husband, had given me an envelope with $1,000 in it like a month prior. She said, put this in your savings account. So, because it'll go towards our trip that we're taking for Christmas. And I just keep forgetting about it because my brain is like freaking spaghetti. So on my way down in there, I thought, okay, I got this cash still. I'll use what I need for the trip, and then I'll deposit the rest on Monday. So go on my hike, have my little tiny backpack on me, go on my hike, and then take the shuttle down to downtown Galena. And I pulled out $100 bill out of the envelope and stuck it in the smaller pocket of my backpack, and the bigger envelope being in the bigger pocket of the backpack. Go, you know, whatever, tip the driver, get off the shuttle, go into the bathroom, use the facilities, go out, start walking around the cityscape, and stopped into a shop to get a water, and then realized that my backpack had been unzipped the whole time. And immediately I was like, I already knew. I already knew. And so I like double back over to the bathroom, check it out, nothing in there, wait for the bus to come back, check with the bus driver, nothing on the bus. And so, yeah. So I had to I sat on that bench for probably 35 minutes and was kind of like a moment where it's like, you're such an idiot. How could you be so stupid? You always do stuff like this. I wish it wasn't the first time, you know, that was the most I had ever lost, but just really self-deprecating, really hating everything and myself mostly. And so then I sat there and I had to manifest a story. This is where years of therapy come in, and also compartmentalizing. Manifest a story in my head about where the money had gone, who had found the money, where the money was at, the good that the money was doing, and all this stuff. So like the entire weekend, I just had to like
for yourself, not to tell
no,
your
for,
husband.
no, for
Okay.
myself, just to be able to get through this experience, so I could actually get out of the weekend what I really needed to get out. So, anyways, manifested this kind of hilarious story that just I feel like I'm just going to continue to build on my whole life. But so there's that, and then and then I have to like I message Kyle, and I'm like, he's like, hey, how's the trip going? I hope it's good and whatever. And I was like, everything was good. And then I was like, until I lost this big envelope of cash. And this is how great he is and how much he understands me and how frequently I do things like this. He's just like, oh no, babe, that sucks. Well, just try to enjoy yourself. Never even asked me how
That's
much,
nice.
nothing, anything like that. And I was just like beating myself up over it. And so, and then, both my mom isn't well right now, like not well at all. And it's just like, it's all these things. It's just kind of all these things that just make me so angry about this shitty hand that I continually be dealt. And so then that just sent me into this like spiral for the last like week and a half of just total shit angry, just mad. So
Can I ask 2 questions?
uh-huh.
Okay, first one, what's the story?
Oh, okay. This is actually very good. There's an old couple. They're in Galena. He's retired. He was an over-the-road truck driver. His name's Joe. Her name's Geraldine, but she goes by Jerry. Joe and Jerry, and they're there for their like 40th wedding anniversary, but they can only stay for the afternoon because they are on a limited income. And she just loves Galena, and they went there for their first wedding anniversary, and they said they always go back and they wanted to eat at this fancy restaurant, but they never have the money. So anyways, they decided that they're going to have a nice lunch, and then they're going to drive home. And then Jerry, being an older lady and having a couple sarsaparillas, had to use the facilities. And she comes out and she finds this envelope. And she says, "Oh my God, Joe, I found $900 in the bathroom. What do I do? What should we do? Oh God, we couldn't possibly keep it. We should find a police station or some sort of like lost and found or something." Okay, yeah, you're right. The first officer that we see, we'll turn the money over. It's the right thing to do. Well, they walked around and they couldn't find anybody. It's too quaint of a town that there's any law there. So they said,
everyone's honest.
because
Yes.
everyone is honest in Galena, Illinois, and nobody's rich and uppity. And so anyways, he said, you know what, Jerry, let's go get that hotel room on Eagles Bluff we've always wanted to stay in. Remember when we used to talk about that? Someday we'd have the money to do that. Well, now we have the money.
Turn
Let's
it
do
into
it.
20s and cover the bed sheet with it. No, wait,
Sexy.
okay, no.
Oh, I mean, I hope it got there. I want that for Joe. I want it. So
In the story.
in the story.
Yeah.
So then so Jerry goes into one of the boutiques and she gets a new dress, and Joe goes and buys her a bouquet of flowers, and she takes the flower from the bouquet and she puts it behind her ear, and they go to this beautiful dinner by candlelight. And he said, "You've never been more beautiful to me than you are right now." And they're just re-sparked the flame. And then they left the waitress $100 tip. And then
All it took was for you to be in the woods going, "Oh God, oh fucking God."
oh my God.
You were so excited. You sent me a video with like your Christmas light Jeep, and you were just so. Were you just chilling by yourself all weekend?
Yeah, well, I
I
chilled
thought
by
you had, like, a
myself.
friend out
I
there.
chilled by myself, and then my friend met me
Okay.
part of the way. So she was with me.
And I knew it was like, because we talked, I knew it was like a big like.
I
by
needed
your-
it.
Yeah, so I just left you alone. I was like, I'm gonna talk to her afterwards. And
Yeah,
was
I
like,
really
How was it?
needed
And you're
it.
like, not good. Don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Not good. Well, really, it was like it wasn't so much like about the money, but it was like I said, my mom's not
Sure.
well, and just
Lot of
like
shit.
all that stuff was like compounding and stuff. So it was like I just need to be angry this week.
Mhm.
But yeah. So okay, what was the second question?
Question number 2. So, you kind of reset with the health issues going on,
Yeah.
losing the money,
Yeah.
everything else. Would you rather have it all happen at once, or would you rather have it be like, oh, I've solved this week's
Ooh.
issue, and now the new one pops up where it's like, oh my God, it never ends.
Yeah,
What would be worse? Or is it better to just
I've lived
try
it
and-
both ways.
Okay.
I've lived it. Unfortunately, I've lived it both ways. I think I would rather it all just happen at one time.
Just get it over with.
Yeah.
Rip the
Yeah.
Band-Aid off.
If I thought that it was like a one and done, but like that's just not how Tiff Mussman's life is, and that's what blows.
It's a perpetual shitstorm.
Yes, like it's forever cloudy, forever.
With no chance of meatballs.
That's right,
No.
and that's a bummer. That's a great book. I love that children's book, by the way.
Again, did not know it was a book.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the best.
I've only
children-
seen the movies.
Oh my gosh, the book is so great. So yeah, that happened. Fun. So yeah, I learned my coping skills, not as healthy probably as Joe's, but my coping skills to make up
I would have
stories.
freaked out.
It took me. I sat on that bench and really, I was like white knuckling and like breathing hard and just like okay, and it wasn't like it wasn't like, oh my God, this money was like so dire to me or anything like that. But it was like, you fucking idiot. And you're so stupid.
This is another thing to add to the
Just
pile.
another thing. And like, just my own stupidity and just how mad. And then it's just like, you get this onslaught of like just horrible guilt. Like, stop with the guilt already. Like, I'm ready for that to be done. So, yeah.
Do you feel like, for me, I've noticed over the past year or so, like things that would upset me, like freak me fully out. Like
Yeah.
we did a show earlier this year where I left my wallet at the I-80 truck stop, and I got home and realized that I'd left. And it was like after 3 straight days of shows, and we get paid in cash a lot. So I'm on my way home with over $500 in cash, and I leave my wallet sitting on the counter, I think,
Yeah.
at 3 a.m, half asleep, 5-hour energy trying to get home. And I lost it. Bawled like a toddler, and just like freaked out. And that was, I think, the first time Alyssa was like, my wife was like, dude, like, you're on the edge, man. You like, this is like, this would irritate you, but like, you're like, I fucking fell apart like big time.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting it back, you know what I mean? Luckily, but even if I wouldn't have, like, I just, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
I've noticed like I'm much easier to catastrophe
For real.
than I
Yeah.
was before.
God, I just felt like I had such a grip on life there, where it was like, I can overcome anything. And I had. And that's probably some of my anger too right now. It was just like, dude, like I was thinking today about how, just really looking inward at like my anger and stuff, and how life has just continued to just kick me down and kick me deep, in the where it hurts the most. And I've just like learned to accept it and roll with it. And so I was like, I'll make my own happiness then. I'll make it. If it's not going to be handed to me and given to me, which I never do, I feel entitled to have that. But like, I will rise above this and I will make my own happiness. And I did. And I did. I took a bad situation of being a teen mom living in my car to like being a mother of 2 successfly, and loving on them and just like I created this safe spot where I had to work really hard at it. And then it's like, for fucking what? For what? For you just to take that too? What the fuck? Like, and it's just, I'm just pissed about that. And I know like we're not all, safe and you can't but I just needed it for a little bit. I just needed it. And I had the air let out of the bubble a few times, but I just don't know sometimes like how people are supposed to just continue to take shit. And I don't even have it that bad, and then I start thinking like just the anger I have towards like the explanation of like God's plan and like how, so what's the plan here then? Like, what's the plan for little Josephine, who's been abused since the moment she was born and passed around in sex slavery and things like that. What is that? That's God's plan. And then we want to explain it away that it's free will. Like, when do we stop explaining and start saying, this is kind of fucked? Like, and I'm really pissed about it.
I've found myself super cynical about that. Like, even recently, like anytime like out in public, you see something that's just ass backwards and just wrong. I'm always like, well, God's plan. So why wouldn't it be
Right.
like that?
Right.
It's just crazy to me. Like,
Yeah. And
I just can't be that person.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. I believed it for a long time. I really did. I really believed it. And I just don't know. I don't believe that. And my thing too is like, when it comes to the spiritual side of things, is like, okay, if God equals love, like if you ask any question or any Christian, like, what is God? Who is God? Well, God is love. So if God is love, why does he allow it? If he can be here to intervene at any moment, why has he not? Why? I don't understand that. What, because this is all a big test? Well, we're failing here, man. We have failed the test. So, but that's the Christian answer, is like, well, it's the hope. It's the hope. And sometimes, I haven't lost all of that hope, but man, it's really overshadowed by anger. And right now it really is. And I think in order to be able to really get through it or process through it or whatever, like, I just have to be in it. Just like I've said with every other stage, just like, you just have to walk through it. And I think it's the hardest stage because it changes you the most to other people, and it makes you a lot more scary to other people. I'm scared. My anger scares me. Not like that I'll hurt somebody, but just that it's in there.
Not really who you want to be.
Not who I want to be. Not who I want to be. I hate it. Like, I have a hard time looking at myself in the mirror, truthfully, just because it's like, you're a monster. You are a fucking monster. Look at what you have to be grateful for. I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed that I feel entitled to be angry. I never feel entitled. I'm not the type of person that feel entitled. I'm sure there's been moments in my life, but by and large, I do not feel entitled, and I feel entitled to be angry, and I feel ashamed of it.
I think we all get to decide those things for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, when you talk like entitlement as far as like superficial shit, physical shit, belongings,
Yeah.
money,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
I worked for it. I deserve it.
But
Right.
entitlement to your own emotions
Mm-hmm.
and not feeling bad for them at all, I think is very reasonable. I'm sorry you're feeling that way, but
Yeah. Well, and like too, I think there's like an embarrassment to it
sure.
also, because it's like, and people, I know they probably look at me as like a changed person. Well, because clearly I am, but it's like one of those where it's like, oh God, she's just really going through this, the stages of grief and anger and stuff. And that, it makes me feel invalidated. Like, because there are topics that I'm addressing now that I've always wanted to, and I never had the balls to do it. And so I feel like I'm just being seen as like the crazy, angry, grieving mom, and that my feelings about these subjects don't really matter.
Causing ripples in the water.
Yeah.
Making everybody.
I know.
Do you feel like people give you a pass but don't really pay attention
Yeah.
or
Yes.
realize what you're talking about? Like, I'm going to let you behave that way. I'm going to give you a pass.
Yep.
And then they just dismiss everything you're saying.
Mm-hmm. I do. Even though I try to
You're
like,
just saying it out of anger.
right.
Yeah.
And like, even though I try to like articulate it in a way that's like informative, especially when it's speaking to like women's rights and, how women are viewed in America and things like that. And it's just something I've never really spoke out about before, even though I feel very passionately and always have about it. But I think it isn't taken seriously because I'm just the sad, angry mom right now. So
What's up with Tiff? Oh, I don't know. She's having a hard time. Let's just stay out of her way.
Right.
For a little.
Yeah.
She's being a Sam,
What's a Sam?
a sad, angry mom.
Oh, so Joe's acronyms. Sad angry mom.
Well, I've had this thought, and it was mainly with coworkers in the past, that we should have an article of clothing, and we decided on brown pants.
Ooh.
Okay, brown pants, because nobody wears brown pants really,
Right.
and so if you're wearing brown pants at work, that means that you're angry. That is your warning sign to everyone that you are upset.
Joe's got on his
And
angry
so,
pants.
yeah, it's your angry pants, your brown pants. You can just bear down as much as you want.
Joe's
Doesn't
feeling
matter.
pretty brown. You could just shit yourself with anger and no one would know.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that you're picking up on this.
Yeah.
So, but what if you were to make like a Sam hat, like a
Okay.
sad, angry mom hat, and you could put that on, and that's the warning sign for everyone. Like we'd all understand, we'd market it, profit off it, that sort of stuff, and people would go, "Oh, she's wearing her Sam hat. We understand." You know, like it's just a warning sign, so that way you don't have to explain your whole backstory to people. We just get it. We're like, "Oh, sad, angry mom. Cool. Do you want to donate $1? You don't want to donate $1 today.
Sam
Here's
hats
your
will be
change.
available.
Yes.
Friends with Death Benefits Facebook page
Yeah.
through Venmo. We'll have those.
Sad angry mom. I
think with Tiff though, because you're so outspoken that if you started wearing a hat to tell people, they'd be like, "Oh shit, she has fallen off the fucking cliff." She got merch made.
Anger wear.
anger wear.
You see her going into like the local print shop and be like, "I need a hat to tell people that I'm mad.
What color? We have brown.
What's your maddest color? What's your maddest font? How many exclamation points can you fit on the end of this?
Is Helvetica angry enough?
Times New Roman's not cutting it for me. Throw some wingdings in there as expletives. I'm freaking out.
Oh my god.
That'd be nice though, because I mean, then people would know. You wouldn't have to, assume.
I could just see it in people's faces being like, if you weren't such an asshole, I wouldn't need this damn hat.
I was gonna give you one. Oh, yeah. God, that is something to think about. Is that Times New Roman?
Oh boy, Tiff got her hat on.
Oh, I don't know. But the pants is a great idea.
Anger pants.
Like that.
It's legit. And I just figured we get like a size 52 and
Then
like suspenders.
You got
know?
one
you go.
jerk at work that doesn't take it seriously. He's like, "What's the matter, grumpy pants?"
Yeah.
That's what you.
They're like,
you
wait,
come in
you're
the
wearing
field.
brown shorts, so are you kind of angry today, or what the
Right.
hell's
Or
going
do you
on
just
now?
have a second job at UPS?
Yeah.
Those guys are angry all the time with their brown pants.
Heck yeah, they are. They wear a brown shirt and everything. They
Mm.
are pissed. They are so sad. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Well, it has to be.
It's all right.
It's got to be, I guess.
That's my only concern as your friend. Like, I don't want you to feel bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I wish when I had my therapy appointments that I felt this way. But like I go in there and I'm just like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right. But never is it ever fallen a day
Then you
where I
leave
got,
there and somebody in front of you doesn't use their turn signal and it just sets off. You're like,
Right.
"Oh yeah, wait."
why can't somebody just piss me off on my way to therapy? I'll walk in there with my hat on and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Just flip it around like you arm wrestle somebody.
We're about to go over the top.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't want to feel bad about it. I don't know. Otherwise, if I do, then I will just compartmentalize it again.
Mhm.
So I just have to work through it somehow. I'm just in a real big hurry to get through this part. And I hope to not revisit it maybe ever. But
For sure, it's a
Yeah.
gross feeling.
yeah,
It's
I-
exhausting.
it
too.
is exhausting.
very
God,
tiring to be mad.
It is. It really is. I also, so Claire had homecoming this weekend, and it was great, and she looked great, and she had a blast. And I think it's one of those moments again where it's like this really beautiful thing is coupled with, you know, like it's always the really beautiful and awesome times that come with the heavy, like right behind it. And then I kind of had a moment where I realized, like, I'm getting used to this. I'm getting used to not seeing him. I'm getting used to him not being here. I don't like that. But, and at the same time, I'm in a hurry to be there too, where it's like, I just want to be used to that. This is a part of my life. And I'm tired of the new feelings. That's exhausting. Tired of the new stages and the new tiff and the new.
Sometimes I try to like imagine, because that's all I can do is try to imagine how you might be feeling about certain things that I'll never be a mom. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
especially a mom that's lost a child. Like, I'll never fully get that. But like, as a person, I just try to like think about some of the things that like come to my mind. You know, like I'd wondered about, you know, seeing you do all the pictures and all this stuff and getting her ready and, you know, all the things that come along with that, and oh, how exciting. And she's growing up and all this stuff. And first one of probably many. And I thought about like how that weird feeling of like hindsight, of how you don't, like, when you're doing things, you don't know what the future holds.
Mm-hmm.
And when Ethan was a freshman, you never in a million years would have thought that he only had so many years left. And I had hoped that those aren't thoughts that you have about Claire. But I mean,
I
at
do.
times, how do you not?
That I do.
Yeah.
Every time I look at her, every time we share a moment, every day I take her to school, every single time I interact with that kid, it is in there. Like, this could be it. Hold on to it. Relish it.
Did you ever have those thoughts before Ethan passed?
Yeah. But
Okay,
not,
'cause
but
I-
not, I mean, you
I
probably,
have those
yeah.
thoughts too, where it's like, God, how would I react if something were to happen to my kid?
Yeah. Like, this is it.
Yeah, like, I mean, seriously, stop walking in the streets,
Right,
you know, and
yeah.
and
But you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know if that was normal. as a
Yeah,
parent.
no, yeah, no. I think we all do have those feelings. But it's just so far outside of a reality ever.
And
It
it's not
doesn't-
healthy really to think that way.
And it just goes nothing more than just a thought that you're just like, oh, Joe, stop it.
Yeah.
You know, snap out of it. But now it's like, it's everything.
Because it's so easy to get mad at yourself. At least for me, to get mad at myself about things I would have done differently
Mm-hmm.
if I had known I only had so much time.
Right.
But where does that get you?
I know. And I think Claire really, I think she grasps onto it too. Like, she catches me like taking a longer gaze or making sure I'm always taking pictures, which I wasn't really big into that before. Only since like Ethan like kind of came back around and stuff. I just wanted to like capture it all. And now it's, so I wonder how that makes her feel. Whereas just like, God, Mom, you're so, but I think she feels that way too.
I think she gets it.
Yeah. I think she feels that way too. So
That's a regret of mine. Like, I was like, because especially, you know, the more and more cell phones become like permanently attached to our hands, like people video and photograph everything. And like some people are just really quick to just video everything.
yeah.
And like, I've never been that guy really, but like looking back on it, it's like, man, I sure would love to have a bunch of videos of my mom just being my mom.
Right.
And I don't, but
Yeah. That's how I feel about my sister too. Like, just to have like
right.
the laugh,
Yeah.
you know, just be able to hear the laugh,
Yep.
you know,
The sound of their voice.
the sound of the voice.
Have you done that thing where you can take a picture and it animates it?
I've seen that. I haven't, not with her. I haven't, but
I mean, is that something that you'd want
I
to
don't
do?
know. It'd
Because
be
to me, it
interesting.
seems creepy.
it is a little creepy. I was actually watching a YouTube video of like, about like
Do you know what we're talking about?
I did it
Okay.
with
like
it with
history.
Ethan's
Like it was like about like the old, and they were like these old timey photos, and like they're like blinking and looking around all
Yeah.
weird. And it's like, yeah, it's a little.
So you said you did that?
Yeah, I have a picture on my desk at work. It was actually my sister's wedding. I was her maid of honor, and Ethan was the ring bearer. And the photo is like I'm like seated, and he's kind of knelt down next to me, and he's like we're just looking at each other like super adoringly. And but you can see enough of his face where you can see his eyes. And so I did the filter, and you just see him. Yeah, just
It
smiling.
felt authentic to you.
Yeah, it was. It was.
That's good.
It was so. Oh, I don't know.
It's very strange to see someone alive in front of you when you know they're not. Like,
Right.
it's. I mean, it's just something you see it all the time. Like famous people, it's like, oh, they're not alive anymore. Musicians,
Yeah.
movie stars, whatever. But like when you knew them,
CGI them.
right? When
Yeah.
you knew
Yeah.
them and like they were in your life, and like you saw that all the time, and now you don't. It's like
It's weird. Yeah.
it's very weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Technology is weird. Okay. Kind of on a in that realm. If you could, do you think you would clone your mom?
Whoa.
I know. I know. That's probably. Is that too dark?
No, I'm just trying to think of like the best way to answer it, because it's like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
yeah, well, the tear for me is, if we're talking flat out, just like it means I get to see my mom again 100 times, yes. But like I think immediately thought about the fact that it's like, okay, well, I cloned my mom and she's a baby, my mom, and she's always going to be 36 years younger than me. That's fucking weird.
Wow, I never thought of that. Okay. Yeah. Weird.
I saw this video in Japan. I don't think it was a game show. It was more like a I forget what the context, like more like
Yeah.
a Today Show maybe or something
Okay.
like that, where this woman had lost her daughter. Her daughter was 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that. And so they, the longer piece I read up on it, this was like the end stage of some serious therapy this woman had gone through, but they put her in virtual reality
Oh.
and had artists do a mock-up of her daughter with, you know, the best graphics you can do to look like her daughter. And so she was able to sit down and talk to her daughter in virtual reality. And somebody was like, you know, typing in the words,
Oh my
you know, for the
God.
daughter to be able to respond. And she's like trying to hug her daughter, but she can't because it's all virtual reality.
Oh my God.
And the clip that I saw online, people were like, "Oh my God, this is horrible! How could you do that to someone?" You know, thinking like, "Oh, we're going to put you in virtual reality. Here's your dead kid." But when I read into it, it was no. This is the end stage of helping her say the things she needed
Yeah.
to say to her daughter that she never got the chance to do and whatnot.
That is all I'm thinking of when you're saying that. Like, I would never miss that opportunity for that closure type thing.
To have him there, but
Yeah. Like just
close
to be,
enough to
yeah,
touch, but you can't
yeah,
actually
just
do
like
it.
and yeah, it's sort of like like seeing somebody behind like prison glass or something. Like
Yeah.
they're available to you, but not where you can reach out and touch them. But it's just enough.
Or
maybe.
it's like in movies when like before they fly off to heaven, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's like, oh,
Yeah, honestly, if it could just be like that moment of closure where it's like, you know, I'm okay and I love you and I'm with you and I'm watching you and I'm near and you know that sort of thing. Like, there's no way I would miss the opportunity to do that. No way.
I'm not quoting verbatim, but it's like this little girl in this VR thing, the dead girl that's been, you know, virtual realitied. It's like, it's okay, mommy. I know how much you love me, you know, and just like, oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I'm a grown man sitting at my desk trying to eat lunch.
Yeah,
Why
that's
am I
heavy.
bawling right
That's
now?
super
Right.
heavy.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. That might mess me up. At the same time, though, it might be pretty amazing.
Right.
And it's like, how do you go, okay, yep, that's it. I'm done. I'm shutting that off. And
How do you not want
go
more?
back?
How do you
Right,
not want
right.
more?
Even if all you programmed was those 7 minutes, I want to do that again
Right.
every day for the
Yeah,
rest of my
right.
life. You know?
Yeah. It would be like this just high that you were forever chasing.
Don't you worry? Like, I'm such a dark asshole, but like, people suck.
Yeah.
And like with that technology, doesn't that open up like the potential for like just such evil shit? Like you think of like trolls on the internet and how they just want to upset people and like they don't even know. Imagine someone getting a hold of that and like someone's trying to have that experience and then someone like types in just some real fucked up stuff
Yeah.
that makes their loved one like, you know, like negative. Like technology is pretty weird.
Yeah.
It's very
it
weird
is.
to mess with, but like it's crazy cool at the same time. I've had a couple dreams lately
Really?
with my mom and them that,
Really?
and it's any dream I've had is always the same. It's very vague, like me trying to like talk her out of doing the things she's doing
Mm-hmm.
and not being able to like have her understand.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent one was like, usually it's like almost metaphorical. You know, it doesn't, I say usually, like it's only happened like twice in the past week and a half. Before that, way back. But I literally remember like saying like to her, like, this is going to kill you. Like, this kills you. You got to stop. Please stop. And you wake up and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's kind of crazy though. Like 2 dreams in a week and a half.
Yeah, it was.
Does she respond at all, or is that when you wake up?
She's drunk and she's incoherent and just whatever and just passive and like nothing you say matters and or
Mm.
like she doesn't understand and it's just this overwhelming sense of frustration,
Right.
which was exactly how it was, before. I saw another thing that like triggered me really bad this week was a YouTube video of like that intervention show
Mm-hmm.
and like seeing all these loved ones just like not being able to get through to these people they care about, like, and seeing how masked these people that they love are. And like,
Yeah.
I was like, I shouldn't have watched this shit. I was like
Yeah.
halfway through, I was like, this is a bad idea. I should have seen this coming. But it's just, that's what makes me so mad. Is how like, it didn't have to be like this. Could have been way different.
Is that the anger now for you?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's sucks. It's like am I mad at myself because I didn't do more? Or am I mad at her for not being strong enough to figure it out? Am I mad at them for just facilitating it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I mad at no one for helping me? Probably all of it, I guess. It's a lot.
That is a lot. It is. I don't know. I don't know. Like, how do you process through that?
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah. I had a reoccurring nightmare for years and years and years and years about my stepdad, who was really abusive, and my mom's negligence towards the abuse. So it was like something similar. So like I would be pleading with my mom about like these terrible things that were happening, and she would sort of just wave it on, or like a lot of the times she wouldn't even hear me. It was like I'd be yelling
Right.
and she would just be like drinking and like looking straight forward. And so it took me a lot of years in therapy to be able to process that. And I haven't had that nightmare for a long time, but it took therapy. It really did take therapy for me able to go process through that. So I don't know. Have you given any more thought to that?
Yeah, I think I'm at the point where it's like I just need to like figure out what's really going to be best for me to try. 'Cause I know there's different people have different takes and stuff. And the thought of having to like hash all that up and then have it be like, well, this guy or this gal didn't, I'm going to try somebody different.
Yeah.
And then I got to hash it all up again.
Mm-hmm.
And what if that person ain't it either? You know what I mean? Like it's very taxing. You know that.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And I think that's my biggest hesitancy. It's not that I'm
Like, am I going to get lucky the
it's
first
not
time?
that I'm opposed to it. It just seems like a very daunting task.
Would it work to either write down like your responses, your feelings, your whatever, or tape it? You know, like
I don't know.
and then just like if it's not working out with therapist one, be like, here's my notes.
Yeah.
And
That is a great idea.
Not
You know?
jokingly.
No, I know that might
but
not
I
be the
mean,
worst idea.
You know, and I mean, granted, it's not going to be like probably 100% effective because the therapist 2 or B or whatever is going to be like, well, I want to dive deeper into
Yep.
that. But at least it's like, okay, here's
Yeah,
this.
Cliff
I
Notes.
honestly do not need to go through that emotional part of telling that again.
Mhm.
That's not
That
going
is
to
a
help me.
Great idea.
And then be like, if you need to ask more about, you know, Appendix B,
Right.
then let's jump in on that. I mean,
Yeah, that's super good. I never would have thought of that. I have been through so many therapists. I wish I would have known you before, Joe. Wow. That's
I mean, just as a thought is to, you know,
Yeah.
break down that barrier of
Mhm.
I can only go through this.
yeah, so when
once.
you're filling out your paperwork at therapist B or C, you can just say like see attached notes.
Yeah.
you
Well, what if
Go to my
therapists-
SoundCloud. Here's the QR code.
What if therapists were so cool that like they're like, you know what, like I don't think I'm your cup of tea. I'm gonna pass my notes on to this
Right.
therapist and let
I mean,
them know,
doctors
like,
do that.
here's what I figured out. You know, maybe you take a crack at this.
Yeah, right,
fucking
yeah.
nut job. I don't.
I'm going to refer you to somebody else.
Yeah.
You said that 4 people ago.
How many more are there?
We're gonna pass you on to a specialist.
Yeah. Are you down to travel?
In fact, we have a new thing where we can just do it from your home. You don't
All of
even
us
have to
local guys have gotten together and decided, nah, not so much with
leave-
you.
Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna.
But I know some people just listen
Yep.
and help you figure that out on your own. I know other people are more suggestive. I know.
So
Try
I,
this, you know, or
I
whatever.
think
it is.
so. That's what I've recognized with therapy. Excuse me. Is that you have to like really ask your therapist or and tell them like how you need to be communicated with. You know, like what I'm looking for in a therapist is this. I need somebody that's going to give me direction, somebody that's going to give me homework, somebody that's
And
gonna,
that's the other thing is I don't even know.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Right. You're gonna have to dip your toe in somewhere, but
All I know is that you and pretty much everyone else that claims to love me thinks that it's something I need to look into.
for real, it really is. It's good stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but so is the gym.
Right.
You know, that's a lot of work too. So is marriage. Oy.
Ugh. It's a scary thing for me, like on both ends. Like if I go to the gym and get in shape, my fat guy jokes don't work anymore. If I go to the therapist and get mentally stable, maybe I'm not as funny. Like
That's true.
if I try to ruin my career here. You know?
Well, at that point, then you fake it till you make it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something's different about this guy. I don't know what it is. He
Yeah.
seems like happy.
Well, I guess when,
There's truth to that though, because ever since I got like a family and a good paying job and I wasn't like renting a room from a friend of mine, my creative writing has gone to
Oh,
hell.
comedians or
I
artists
suppose.
in general are broken people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since life got good, like I've tried to write angry music and
Right.
it doesn't work. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, the government, you know,
I
I mean,
should've known.
I got to pay my fair share because, you know,
Yeah,
the
right.
roads are kind of jacked up.
Right.
So
and that IRA,
I
and-
should
Yeah.
have known that you were struggling because your paintings lately have been really good.
right? Yeah. Damn it.
that is valid.
Thank you. Tiff's so sad. Look at how good these are.
Wow.
These are so good.
Make that
must
$1,000
really be
back
s-
in no
Must
time.
really be
Right.
circling the drain.
That's right. That's right. I'm using my
How
set.
do you make a $2,000 painting? Lose $1,000 in
Yeah.
Galena.
Jerry.
Ugh.
Oh, I love those guys.
I hope they had a good time.
I think they did.
It sounds like a really nice restaurant.
It really sounded beautiful.
To be that creative
Oh, and
for your own well-being,
and you know
gotta have a
what?
lot of darkness rolling around in that
and
head
it
of yours.
didn't even. It was like nothing. It came right
Yeah.
off the tip of the old noggin.
It was very vivid. I pictured them.
See,
Yeah.
when you first said that, though, I thought you were thinking of a story to tell your husband about the
Oh,
money.
sure.
And
How can I lie about
yeah,
this?
and like making up all this about Jerry and Joe and all this stuff. And if I was your husband, I'd be like, cool.
Right.
So where's the money?
Right.
That's great for them.
Yeah. Right.
But where's our money?
But babe, the money. Where's the money?
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Do you picture Jerry with like curly, used to be red, maybe like 60% kind of graying hair?
Mutton chops.
Yes.
The woman?
No, the woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
still, I stick to my response.
The mutton chops.
She pulls them off.
Yeah, she does. She does.
She's too sweet of a woman for anyone to say anything
I
about.
did picture her as like at one time was a strawberry blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taller than him.
Mm.
He's a little guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, little guy, but still has all of his hair, but it's like
but
very slow.
wise. Doesn't say
Oh,
a
very
lot, but the
wise.
stuff he says.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when he reached across that table and he said, "You are more beautiful to me today than you were the day I met you," I fell apart on that freaking bench in the middle of Galena. It went from tears of like
And
total disappointment, and
As the
despair
sun
to
was
like,
coming up the next morning and you were trying to cope with life, you realized that your money went to them buying all the pay-per-view pornography at the hotel that night.
oh, I waited in front of the dispensary for those guys. Oh, good
Oh,
stuff.
man.
Man, that hour went fast.
Has it been an
It
hour?
has been an hour.
Wild.
Wow. Cheap therapy. I feel better.
I'm glad.
I feel like we've
we
covered
got
it
the
all.
anger girl to laugh a little bit, Joe.
That's right.
Yeah, it works.
I haven't laughed. I really haven't laughed in probably a week and a half. So.
I'm not saying that correlates with you not talking to me as much, but
No. Wow. This guy.
Causation and correlation are, two separate streets that sometimes intersect.
yeah.
Who is this guy? He's just the wisest
I am.
and humble. And so humble.
So
It's amazing. The more you talk to someone, the more you learn about them.
Very true.
Yeah.
buttery voiced, old wise cherub looking.
He is Joe. He is
You are
Joe.
a man of you got a lot of irons in the fire, Joe Malone.
Yeah, you do. It's so
you
good.
can't be pegged. You're a vast well of.
Do your like really close friends say that about you? Like you're the wise old dude.
Yeah, and it's
You're a lot
uncomfortable.
deeper of a dude than
Really?
most would assume. I feel like.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if this is the right way to put it, but my friends look up to me, and I mean I look up to them for things as well. But they've always like, dude, I look up to what you've done, got out of here, and all that. And I'm like, nah, you got stuff going on,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So like look up to you in the way that you've like made it in your career, or
Yeah.
like the type
Did the
of
stuff
man
you
that you
said
are.
you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I mean, now that
I mean, you do have
I
your own
feel like
morning
I'm
show. That's pretty
bragging, and it's weird.
No.
And it's like I don't like that sort of attention.
Right.
I know
Like,
how
if I'm
much
being
you work.
wacky. That's fine,
I know how much you
know?
work your butt off. So for me, it's like I feel like you got a little room to brag.
You
like,
do. Well, also like why isn't that? I think that speaks to like how society has overflated in egos in it, but like it doesn't allow the people who have really earned the spot to be able to say like I am a good person and I worked really hard. Like you feel like unjust
For sure.
to be able to say
Like I
those
don't
things.
like that. Like with comedy, I work very hard, and when good things happen, or I feel
When you go meet people for the first time, not in a comedy sense,
Mhm.
there's something about, do you introduce yourself as Justin Paulson, comedian?
oh god no. If
You
they
don't
ask
do
me
that?
what I do, I'm much quicker to say comedian than greeting card style.
Okay, because
Sure.
I've worked with people that will go out and go to Hardee's or whatever.
Right.
Be like, yeah, what do you want to have? I'll take number 4. By the way, nice to meet you, so and so from this
Oh,
radio
yeah, I
station.
hate
Yeah,
that.
And I'm
right.
like, dude, like, he asked what you want
Right.
for lunch.
Yeah,
Calm
self-promoting.
down.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
that's-
definitely proud of it, but I don't want to come off. I never want to come off that dude. But it's interesting because anytime that I feel like I have a moment of, man, I'm good at this, or like, things are going well for a reason. There's that where you feel like, oh, I'm being a self-centered asshole. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like, is it that bad to know that your hard work's paying off and that that's okay? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't
No.
know. So it goes back to what you said, though. It's like we're just conditioned. Like,
Right. But
Be
there is
humble.
also a fine line between confidence and ego.
oh
You
yeah.
know, I believe they're firmly in that.
I mean, even just and like if I think going out and telling everyone about how great you are, it's
Yeah.
hard to not see that as ego. But even to myself, like in my like personal moments where I'm like, yeah, dude, you're killing it. There's still
Yeah.
a part of me that's like, you're kind of being a little full of yourself right,
Right,
now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
right.
like, why do I have to make myself feel bad for feeling good?
Right. I don't know. It's crazy. But Joe doesn't. Joe
Yeah.
feels good about himself.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I just don't go flying the flag
I was
about
waiting
it.
for
you don't
another
need-
limerick
you
right
don't
there.
need to.
No.
I know. I was like,
It's like,
show me something wise, Joe.
well, it's funny that
Teach
you
me
say
how to
that
be
because
humble.
Let me pull out this quotation
never
that
eat
I
a
just
ham
made up
sandwich after 3 p.m. because
in Tulsa.
In Tulsa. Oh God,
oh
good stuff.
But I think
Yeah,
to
fine.
kind of wrap all of this up into one sort of nutshell here,
Yeah.
you know, you to an extent should feel free to feel the way you want to feel. You know, your emotions. So if you're angry, if you're happy, if you know, whatever it is, as long as it's in the right context. Because, like, you know, if you're watching, for instance, Human Centipede, but you're laughing at all the wrong spots, that's maybe not appropriate.
Got
you
it.
know.
Got
So
it.
as long as your emotions are justified,
Mhm.
don't feel bad about
Yeah.
feeling them.
Yeah.
basically to completely wrap up, it's like be mad unless it hurts other people,
Yes.
unless they're consensual about it.
Yes.
Then you're paying them an hourly rate to do so.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And Joe has.
We've already established that. Yes.
He's offered it up.
Just put on your Sam hat and call 1-800 yell at me.
And wear your brown pants.
Yeah.
No, look for the guy in the brown pants.
Yeah, it'll be the guy. It'll be the one.
Good stuff.
Well, that's what I say on my show all the time. Do whatever makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
or angry, I guess. You know,
Unless that's what they're into.
yeah.
What a weirdo. This is fun. So, hopefully, in the next coming weeks, we're gonna have some new guests on.
Yeah, we've had people reach out to us about coming on. We've had other people that we've reached out to agree to come on.
Yeah,
We've had-
we have some topics that we've been trying to cover for a while. We've got grief and breakups. I'm excited about that. Gentleman has agreed to come on the show. He's newly he's going through a breakup right now from a long-term relationship, and his journey mirrors the grief of losing a loved one. So that's going to be a really interesting one.
Can I throw something out? I had an idea, and tell me if this is dumb, and you listening as well. You know, tell us if this is dumb. What about, you know, because grief, you know, happens sometimes. It's long form grief, you know, which we've dealt a lot with. But what if we were to get like a sports psychologist or like an athlete on and talking about, because they experience grief
Ooh.
much more regularly, but not to the level of losing someone. You know,
Oh,
like
wow.
losing a
like the
game.
pressure that comes along with winning and then not winning.
Yeah,
like big
and
huge
it's-
moments.
Yeah,
Like,
and
That's
and
so
that,
great.
and
That
then
could be good.
how do you come back from that?
Yeah.
And you know, that
Yes.
sort of thing, because you know there might be some positive nuggets in there where it's like, okay, as an athlete, this is what I do. This is how I reset my focus. You know,
Love it.
you know, along the lines of, you know, I'm mentally preparing myself for today because I know I feel this way, and then it fails,
Ooh.
and you're like, God, okay, should I try that again?
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, an athlete's going to go up and maybe take the same approach, and one day you're 1 for 3, the next day you're 3 for 3. You know,
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you're in the sports arena.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just figured I can, you know,
See if you can whip us up an
throw
athlete.
a line out. So,
That would be awesome.
yeah.
That is, I never would have thought of that. I love sports, but like I'm not as much of a
Because I mean, it's
fanatic
a
as you
different
guys,
type
but-
of grief, and
Totally.
but
Well-
overcoming adversity, I think,
Yes.
is universal.
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, people that are like real deal athletes that dedicate their life to it. I mean, they live and die by it,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
a good
their
one.
sport, and
That's a good one. Yeah,
everyone's emotions is, you know, to them is.
Are you an athlete and you'd like to be on Friends with Death Benefits? Make my job easy. Send a message.
yes, I love that. You know, we should really try to interview Kyle because he has so much grief being a Minnesota fan.
Yeah, me and Kyle are just gonna sit down and cry together for an hour.
Yeah. You guys are
Mhm.
really in
And
the thick of it.
we're not gonna record it. It's just something we plan to do. We're gonna get together. and
You know
have a
what?
good
I have
cry.
no problem going to the fire department open house from noon to 3 on Sunday. I'm going to have a great time with my family. I'm not even going to think about the game.
Not even gonna think about it.
No.
Oh, I'm not. I'm going to go. I'm
Yeah,
going to have
good.
fun. And then I'm
Good.
going to check my phone and be like, "Pfft, I could have wasted these 3 hours at home.
That's right. That's true. It's wise.
I'm gonna waste those 3 hours
He's
at
gonna
home and
do
be
it.
very upset.
Sure you don't want to come to the fire department open house? They're cutting a car in half.
Whoa, that does sound.
What?
That's your team wins for sure. Either
Yeah.
way there.
That's so cool.
I mean,
We have soccer,
either
but-
way, you're going to see a car accident.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody's getting wrecked.
It's just nice to see something get destroyed other than my fragile emotional well-being.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, but hey, it's all about choices.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are going to interview a COVID somebody in
Oh.
the COVID world that's been dealing with COVID patients
Mm-hmm.
and all of the trauma that comes along with the war zone that they're in right now. So I'm really excited about that episode. Really excited. So yeah, but if you're, as always, we always say if there's a topic we haven't covered, I mean, it's so vast and so broad.
Right.
Grief is.
And everybody's story is different. Even
Yeah.
if it's something similar, even just to
Yeah.
be able to relate. I had a friend that I hadn't talked to in years that reached out to me and asked about possibly coming on too. And it's like, I think it's just a cool feeling to know that we're putting out a vibe that people are like,
Welcomed.
Yeah.
because coming on a radio show or internet, whatever you want to call it at this
Podcast.
point. Yeah. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
it's technically not, I mean, it's that we're in a radio studio. So I just feel like, but to
Boomer.
publicly speak about like, icky stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like is like, and like to feel compelled to
Mhm.
because you see other people, like that makes me feel good, I guess, that
Yeah.
we're creating that environment that like people are like, hey, maybe I want to try that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool.
And then for me, I just really like the closeness of getting in this space with people. Like I've learned something every single time. And just leaving here feeling like bonded with
Mm-hmm.
others.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think we're like 2 weeks roughly out from doing this show for a full year.
Oh, wow.
Time flies when you're
Yeah.
in a
Our
pandemic.
first episode in Joe's basement.
Oh, yeah. I was in Joe's basement. And which kid?
Technically, my studio, that sounds a lot cooler.
Okay,
Like in Joe's studio. Yeah.
with his employees running around upstairs.
With my children falling off furniture.
Yeah. Which was it? Mabel?
Yeah.
Mabel fell and
She took a
smacked her
knock.
melon.
Yeah.
Duh.
It looked like Looney
Rama.
Tunes when like they get hit in the head and there's the big like thing that
Whoop.
lifts their hat up.
Oh
like,
God, that poor kid. But
kids will
Joe
be
kept his
kids.
professionalism.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, thanks, everyone.
I gotta go.
Yeah, we are going to the emergency room. Any final thoughts? Either of you?
I guess if you're out there and you're feeling mad about stuff, like analyze it for yourself and figure out, like
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Or in the words of Slipknot, spit it out.
Oh my God, you freaking
spit
weird.
in anger like Joe does.
Spit
Dude,
in
ever use your
anger.
coping skills, read Daniel
Oh my
Tiger, do
God.
what you gotta do, but like get through it, you know?
Listen, I have so many merch ideas right now. Just like bumper stickers,
Sam hats,
Sam hats, spit in anger.
friend with death benefit, brown pants.
I love it. I love it. We're gonna get Joe a whole uniform.
Yeah.
Spokesperson.
Meeting after this and talk about endeavors.
Oh,
It's
well,
good to be back hanging
yeah.
with you guys.
it is.
I
Thanks
think
for.
we got some laughs, which is good.
Yeah, it was good.
Got some stuff out.
I feel better. Until we have to do this again.
Have to.
We have
Hang
to.
in there, guys.